Have you ever found yourself just staring at a blank screen, maybe wrestling with a massive to-do list or, desperately trying to spark that one brilliant idea for a presentation, wishing you had like a really smart co-pilot to help you navigate all that chaos? Or maybe you're just feeling like you're drowning in information, needing a shortcut to figure out what really matters. Well, imagine if that brilliant co-pilot, that extra brain, wasn't just some separate tool, but was like seamlessly woven into the apps you already use every single day. That's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Welcome to the deep dive. We're going way beyond the basics to really master effective prompts for Gemini for Google Workspace. Our insights today are, inspired by Google's own Quick Start Handbook, but we're layering on some surprising findings and practical strategies to turn it into a real power guide for you. This isn't just about using AI, it's about making AI work smarter, faster, and more intuitively for you.
Exactly. And our mission today really is to equip you with those foundational skills and, crucially, those kind of nuanced insights that will genuinely transform how you interact with generative AI. We want to give you a real shortcut, not just to ticking off tasks, but to boosting your creativity, streamlining workflows, and getting a deeper handle on your own information. And what's absolutely critical here, especially in a work context, is that all this happens while keeping your data private and secure within your Google Workspace. It's about empowerment without compromise.
Okay, let's unpack that. Gemini for Google Workspace, it really is designed to feel like that extra brain, right? Seamlessly integrated. The core idea, and our sources really emphasize this, is that Google Workspace was built for human collaboration. Real-time stuff. You're already sharing docs, editing slides together, brainstorming into meet with your team. Now, Gemini just steps into that familiar space. It integrates generative AI right there, letting you collaborate with AI just like you would with another person. It's quite a shift, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It changes the whole dynamic of how you approach your work.
Yeah.
And what's really fascinating isn't just what it can do, but where it does it. It's not another tab you have to juggle or some separate app you need to launch. It's right there, deeply integrated into the tools you likely spend most of your day in. Gmail, Docs, Drive, Sheets, Meet, Slides. And then, of course, there's Gemini Advanced for those, bigger tasks or deeper creative dives, offering that more robust standalone chat experience.
Right, that native integration is key.
It really sets it apart.
So if it's living in all these places, what does that actually mean for you, the user, like day-to-day benefits? Well, the immediate impact is potentially huge. Gemini can dramatically improve your writing, drafting emails, polishing reports, in seconds. It can organize loads of information like summarizing long docs or pulling key points from a meeting.
Yeah, summarizing is a big one.
Huge. It can even generate original images right where you're working, which, for creative roles, that's a game changer. It just speeds up all sorts of tasks, helps make meetings more productive with things like automatic notes, and makes researching stuff incredibly fast.
And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it really means less friction. A lot less. Less switching between tabs, fewer interruptions to your flow. Gemini has this amazing ability to spot trends, synthesize information from different places, even identify potential opportunities by connecting to your personal knowledge base across Drive, Docs, Gmail. Think about that. It can draw from your own files that email thread from last month, that research doc, to give you really powerful personalized output.
That's the context part.
Exactly. Tapping into your context. It's a game changer for less interruptive, much more relevant workflows. It's almost like having an assistant who remembers everything you've ever worked on.
Yeah, that deep contextual memory is definitely powerful. Okay, so to really make Gemini work for you, you need to know how to talk to it. And this seems to be where a lot of people stumble initially. They treat it like a search bar, right? Just fire off a few keywords. And then they wonder why the results aren't quite right. The Quick Start Handbook gives us this great framework for foundational pillars for writing prompts. Think of them less as strict rules, more like essential conversation starters. You don't always need all four, but using a few really helps Gemini zero in on what you need.
Right. These pillars are all about giving Gemini clarity, reducing the guesswork. The first one is persona. You're basically assigning a role to Gemini, telling it, who do I want you to be for this task? So you might start with, say, you are a program manager in the tech industry. And that's not just fluff. It sets the stage. It guides the voice, the level of detail, the kind of expertise you expect Gemini to bring.
Yeah.
He gives it a frame of reference.
That makes sense. It's like asking a specific expert, not just shouting into the void. Okay, so persona gives Gemini a role. What's the actual doing part, the core command?
You hit the nail on the head there. That's the task. This is arguably the most critical bit because it defines exactly what you want Gemini to do.
Yeah.
It absolutely has to include a clear verb or command, like draft an executive summary email. That's a clear task. It tells Gemini to do something specific. Without that clear task, Gemini has to guess, and you're leaving way too much to chance. You often get generic stuff back.
Right. And if you're not clear, Gemini might just get confused or guess wrong, and then you're just creating more work for yourself fixing it later. Okay, so it knows who it is, what to do, what's next.
Exactly. Minimize that guesswork.
Hmm.
The next layer is context. This is where you feed it all the relevant background info, the crucial details it needs to make the output actually useful and accurate. In our example, that'd be based on details about relevant program docs. The more specific context you provide, dates, names, goals, the problem you're solving, the better the response. Think of it like giving Gemini all the ingredients before asking it to bake the cake. You need the flour, the eggs, the sugar.
Love that analogy. It's not just the recipe, it's the quality ingredients. Okay, and finally.
Finally, there's format. How do you want the output structured? Bullet points. A table, a short paragraph, a long report. So you might add limit to bullet points to a running example.
Gotcha. So put all four together and you get something really precise like, you are a program manager in industry. Draft an executive summary email to persona based on details about relevant program docs. Limit to bullet points. It's like giving Gemini a complete instruction manual for exactly what you want.
Precisely. It's about being clear and comprehensive.
Hmm.
These four, persona, task, context, format, they're a powerful framework. They help you articulate what you need much more effectively. They give Gemini those guardrails, leading to much more reliable, useful results.
Okay, so we've got the four pillars, the foundational language, but what about, quick wins? How can people start seeing results today without needing a PhD in prompt engineering?
Yeah, good question. Let's talk practical tips. First off, keep it simple. Use natural language.
Okay.
That's right. Don't overthink the syntax. Just write like you're talking to a person. Use complete thoughts, full sentences. You don't need special code. Gemini understands conversational English. So instead of just summarize docs, try something like, can you summarize this document for me and highlight the three main takeaways? It's more human, clearer.
Right, more direct. And building on that, be specific, but also be ready to, iterate. A lot of people just fire off one prompt and expect perfection.
Rarely works first time.
Yeah. Tell Gemini exactly what you need. Summarize, write, change the tone, create something new, give it as much context as you can. But if that first shot isn't perfect, refine it. Think of it like a conversation, not a command shouted once.
And this leads to conciseness, which sounds a bit contradictory to being specific, but it's not, really. State your requests briefly, get to the point, avoid jargon if you can. Clarity comes from choosing the right words, not just more words. And yes, absolutely make it a conversation. If the results aren't quite right, tweak the prompt. It's an iterative process, review, refine, review again. Just like working with a human colleague. A simple follow-up like, can you make that sound a bit more formal? Or, okay, give me 3 more options, but with a playful tone is often all it needs.
Okay, now here's a feature that's a real game changer for workspace users, tying right back to that context pillar, leveraging your own documents. You can personalize Gemini's output using info from your files in Google Drive just by typing at, and then the file name right in the prompt.
Yeah, that's incredibly useful.
So intuitive. Like you could say, draft an email about next quarter's goals, referencing at Q2 sales report summary. Gemini then pulls insights from that specific report. Saves so much time cutting and pasting.
Totally. And here's a really cool trick, often overlooked, especially if you're feeling a bit unsure about your prompting skills. You can actually get Gemini to help you write better prompts. In Gemini Advanced, just start your prompt with something like, make this a power prompt, and then paste your original, maybe basic prompt here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Gemini will analyze your initial prompt and suggest ways to improve it, making it more effective before you even run it for the main task. It's like having a prompt coach built right in.
That's brilliant. A meta prompting tool. It helps you learn how to prompt better by showing you. Which brings up an important point about prompting itself. It really is a skill, isn't it? And like any skill, you get better with practice, with iteration. You don't need to be a full-blown prompt engineer. But yeah, it often takes a few tries, a few different angles to get exactly what you want. It's learning to communicate effectively with this new kind of intelligence.
And this leads us to something really interesting, kind of an aha moment for a lot of users, based on the data Google shared. We often see people defaulting to really short prompts, maybe just a few keywords, almost like a search query.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 words maybe.
Right. But the data shows something surprising about prompt length and effectiveness. while most users try prompts under 9 words. The most fruitful prompts, the ones delivering the best, most useful outputs, actually average around 21 words, packed with relevant context.
21 words. That's quite a jump. It's not about just being wordy, right?
Yeah.
It highlights that adding a bit more detail, that extra context, yields significantly better results. It moves it from a basic question to a proper instruction, a collaboration. It's the difference between asking coffee logo and asking draft 3 logo concepts for a coffee shop, targeting young professionals, emphasizing a minimalist, modern aesthetic. Way more specific.
Precisely. That's a key takeaway for everyone listening. Providing more detail isn't just about length, it's about adding relevant context and clarifying your intent. That lets Gemini truly understand what you need and generate much more targeted, useful stuff. It moves you beyond a simple query to a more informed, sophisticated collaboration. It's investing a few extra seconds up front that pays off big time in the quality of the output.
Okay, so how does all this theory translate into the real world? Gemini for Google Workspace isn't just some generic AI. It's meant to be a versatile tool for different jobs, different industries. Let's walk through a few scenarios.
Yeah, let's make it concrete. Take administrative support. Huge potential here. Imagine an executive administrator planning a complex 3-day offsite. New team, diverse group, say 25 people, meeting in DC. Their first prompt in Gemini Advanced might be something like, I am an executive administrator planning a 3-day offsite in Washington, DC for a new diverse team of 25. Plan activities for each day, including team bonding and strategic work. Create a sample agenda that uses persona, task, and some initial context. Solid start.
Okay, solid start, but yeah, any admin knows a generic agenda won't fly. The details matter. So you iterate for specificity. Maybe the first icebreakers Gemini suggests are a bit bland, so you follow up. Suggest 3 different icebreaker activities that specifically help people learn about preferred working styles, strengths, and goals. Make sure they're engaging, work for 25 people, take 30 minutes or less, and need minimal setup. See how you're refining the task and adding crucial constraints.
Exactly. And then, to get the layout right, you iterate for format. Organize this whole agenda in a table format. Slot one of your suggested icebreakers into the morning session each day. And here's where the document integration gets really cool. Once that agenda draft is in a Google Doc, you open the doc and prompt Gemini within the doc. Using a 2024 H2 Team Vision document, generate a concise summary for the opening remarks on day 1, emphasizing our growth goals.
Wow.
Connects directly to your internal file, generates personalized content right there without you leaving the document. That's a multi-step, multi-app workflow streamlined down, potentially saving hours.
That's a massive time saver. Okay, let's switch gears. Marketing. More creative roles. Imagine a brand manager launching a really unique business, like a coffee shop combined with a video game cafe. They need logo ideas.
Fun.
So a prompt in Gemini Advanced could be, you are a creative director at a boutique branding agency. Generate ideas for a creative, eye-catching logo for my new coffee shop video game cafe. Consider dual concept, coffee and gaming, target audience, young adults, tech fans, gamers, and give me style options like modern playful, retro cool, and sleek minimalist. That's a great example, using persona, lots of context, and asking for different format options to spark creativity.
Definitely. And then you iterate. You'll probably like some ideas more than others. So a natural follow-up is, okay, I really like the retro cool options. Can you give me 3 more distinct concepts in that style? Maybe incorporate some classic 8-bit graphics or neon vibes. It shows that conversational refinement. And then you can expand. Write a catchy tagline and maybe 10 potential names for the business that would fit well with these retro cool logo ideas. You're essentially brainstorming with the AI, building on its output.
That collaborative brainstorming aspect is super powerful. Okay, one more. Sales. Let's say an account executive gets a new, important customer. They need to quickly get up to speed and build trust. First step might be drafting an initial outreach email in Gmail. Write an email to name the new title at company. Congratulate them. Introduce me as their contact at your company. Invite them for coffee or lunch next week. Maybe check if Monday or Tuesday works best.
Yeah. Standard stuff.
Right. But then critically, they could use Gemini's built-in refine options, maybe selecting formalize or shorten to quickly adjust the tone before sending.
Exactly. But the real power comes in the research. The AE could then jump over to Gemini Advanced and ask, what's the primary market strategy of customer company for the next year based on recent announcements? Then they could paste in URLs to news articles or press releases. URL 1, URL 2. Summarize these. What are the key insights about their recent product launches? Why are these important competitively?
And here's something that usually takes ages. Summarizing video. Imagine pasting a YouTube link to an interview with the customer CEO. The prompt could be, YouTube URL, summarize this interview. Tell me more about executive name's main priorities. What does she really care about regarding market expansion and tech innovation?
Think of the time saved. Getting deep, nuanced insights on a key contact's vision, their pain points. That's not just summarizing, it's strategic analysis done fast.
Absolutely. And then Gemini can synthesize all that. The AE could ask, okay, based on everything we just discussed, how can my company's specific solution help customer company achieve their market goals and address executive stated priorities?
And the final step, export all that research maybe to a Google Doc. Then right there in the doc, prompt Gemini again. Create a compelling personalized email draft for customer's name explaining why my company is the perfect partner, referencing their Q4 earnings call and executives' focus on innovation. It shows the whole cycle. Research diverse sources, synthesize, then create a highly targeted, persuasive output tailored perfectly to that customer.
That is a truly phenomenal workflow example. Okay, so for those listening who feel like they've got the basics and are ready to level up, let's touch on some advanced prompting techniques. First up, for multiple related tasks, it's often much better to break it up. Don't try to cram everything into one giant prompt.
Yeah, this is a common mistake. People try to write one massive prompt, like plan the offsite, draft the emails, and create the slides. The insight here is that Gemini, just like a person, works much better with one focused task at a time. Doing too much at once often leads to kind of mediocre results across everything. So break it down logically. First, plan the offsite agenda. Then, based on that agenda, draft an intro email. Quality goes way up.
Makes total sense. Clarity in, clarity out. Next, always give constraints. Don't just ask for ideas, specify things like word counts, number of options, or other limits. Guide the output.
Exactly. People often waste time editing Gemini's output down to size or format. The key insight. Front-load that constraint. Tell it, limit to 100 words, or give me 3 options right at the start. You often get a perfect first draft that way, cutting out a whole revision step. It makes Gemini a precise generator, not just a helpful editor.
Nice. You can also assign a role to spark different kinds of creativity. It's more than just playing pretend, right?
Right. The insight is that assigning a persona like you are the head of creative at a top ad agency doesn't just change the tone. It can actually activate a specific knowledge set within the AI. It's like tapping into a predefined expertise, much like talking to a real expert. You get a more sophisticated response tailored to that domain.
Cool. And don't hesitate to ask for feedback from Gemini itself. You can actually ask it, what questions do you have for me that would help you give a better answer?
Yeah, this pushes the AI to clarify anything ambiguous in your request. It might highlight missing context you didn't even think of, leading to a much better final response. It's interactive prompt improvement.
Also, always consider tone. Seems obvious, but often missed. Specify if you need formal, informal, technical, creative, casual.
It helps tailor the language perfectly for your audience. Just adding, use a friendly, encouraging tone can totally change the feel compared to a neutral request.
And finally, a simple but really effective one. Say it another way. If the first results aren't quite right, don't just give up. Rephrase your prompt. Try a slightly different angle.
Absolutely. Prompting is iterative. Rephrasing based on the previous output is normal, expected. Sometimes just tweaking the wording unlocks a much better result.
Okay, so as exciting and powerful as all this is, we absolutely need to remember the human element, our own responsibility here. Generative AI is still evolving. The responses can sometimes be, well, unpredictable, occasionally inaccurate, or maybe reflecting unintended biases.
And this brings up a critical point. Before you use any output from Gemini for workspace, especially in a professional context, you must review it critically. Check it for clarity, for relevance, and definitely for accuracy. Gemini is an incredibly powerful assistant designed to help humans, but that final output, the responsibility for using it, that's ultimately yours. It encourages critical thinking, careful oversight, and makes you not just more productive, but more discerning, more effective. It's about augmenting your intelligence, not blindly replacing it.
Well, we have taken a really deep dive today into making Gemini for Google Workspace your integrated AI co-pilot. We've looked at how mastering effective prompting, understanding those 4 pillars, persona, task, context, format, plus those advanced techniques, can unlock really incredible levels of productivity and creativity.
And yeah, let's not forget that surprising insight, aiming for around 21 relevant words in your prompts, giving that extra bit of detail, often yields significantly better results than short keyword-style queries. Small investment, big payoff.
So as you go about your day-to-day, think about this. What's the one prompt you're going to try to refine? Or maybe that one complex task you could break down into smaller, more focused prompts for Gemini. Consider how applying just one of these skills could genuinely transform how you tackle your next big project, making you not just more informed, but truly insightful and impactful.
Keep practicing. Keep exploring the possibilities.
Happy prompting.